Hey, you guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. So today I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm learning about money right this moment. There's a quote from author and philosopher Vernon Howard. Always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. So be on the lookout. That's what's always important. And sometimes I'm not always great at this, but when I find myself being like, okay, I want to learn something new, right? You want to keep expanding your mind. And so whether that's through conversations or reading, it's just a great place to be, to stay curious, keep your eyes open, because again, we all have something to learn every single day. So when it comes to money specifically, a couple of things that I'm learning. First and foremost, about investing. Okay, so we talk about investing on the show a lot, and I am not a certified financial planner, so digging into the weeds of specifically investing is not my gifting. It's not what I do, right? I give you guys really high level tactical things, but then I always encourage you to go to a SmartVestor Pro and sit down with someone who does this day in and day out. But we had an event a few weeks ago for a live stream, our Building Wealth live stream. Maybe some of you watched it. And so they wanted me to do a 25-minute keynote on the markets and the S&P 500 and going in and explaining how the market works. What are we seeing? Are there trends? How do people have confidence when they're putting their money in when we have a down year like we did last year? So I spent a good amount of time just digging into all the nerdy details of like the S&P 500 and all that stuff. But it was really good for me because I'm like, I feel like I haven't done that in a little bit. And so even though I talk about money every single day, digging into stuff like that is still so good because it reminds me when I go back and I look at numbers and I look at stats of why I encourage you guys to invest and why I personally even invest. Winston, because I can have confidence still in the market. And that's what that research did, looking back at graphs from even over 100 years ago and looking at the trends and what it's doing was really helpful. And so even when you look back just a few years ago, March of 2020, the market fell 9.5%. But by August of that year, it went back up. And it met there. And then by December of 2021, the market hit an all-time high. Now, granted, 2022 went back down. But what's crazy is when you zoom out and you have perspective of the market overall, even over the last 100 years, you watch the graph and the whole thing is going up. Now, within that, there are ups and downs that you experience, but the trajectory of the market still is going up. And so being able to have confidence and again, give other people confidence that I just believe that we can depend on the economy here in America enough to put our money in, even when times are slow, and instead of stopping investing or pulling money out to continue the ride, because you can look back. So even just doing some of that research, it helped me. It did. So that's one thing that I was digging into recently. All right, before I go on to the next one, I want to take a quick break and tell you about our sponsor, Christian Healthcare Ministries. You're watching every cent, but prices keep going up. Did you know that there's a budget-friendly solution to rising healthcare costs that's also biblical? Well, there is, and it's through Christian Healthcare Ministries, America's longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. Visit chministries.org/Rachel to learn more. All right, another thing that I just keep learning is when it comes to my kids and their personalities when it comes to money. It's so funny. I feel like I could have predicted this, even a few months ago of kind of how they'd be. And then as they just get older, even 6 months, even a year, right, they just come into their own. And so it's just so funny to watch how different they are. Now, Charles is 3. He counts in my heart and in life, but not when it comes to teaching kids about money. He's just kind of like all over the place. But the 2 girls, I'm like, man, Amelia, our oldest, she is like so on top of it. She wants to work and she's such a saver. It's so funny. She will put money away in her room. She has a goal. She knows what she wants to save for. It is like this whole strategy play. And she will go and do stuff and tell me, Mom, I unloaded the dishwasher. Can I get paid for it? She's on it. And my middle, Caroline, she's the spender. She's me. And I'm always like, okay, well, in order to go buy something, Caroline, you have to work. You have to do something. So you want to help me make lunches? You want to help me bring in the groceries? I try to give her opportunity. And she's like, no, Mom, I just want to go buy it. I just want to go. There's a toy store here called Brilliant Sky. She's like, I just want to go to Brilliant Sky and buy something. And I'm like, we can't just go buy something. It costs money. And she's like, isn't that why you go to work? I was like, well, yes, Mom goes to work. But the money I make pays for the lights that are here, the heat in our house, the food in our refrigerator. We just don't have money just to go and just buy toys whenever we want. And she's like, oh, Like everything is such a big deal. Anyway, she had $2 this weekend and she's like, I want to go to Brilliant Sky. I want to go to Brilliant Sky. And I was like, you know what? You've been asking me forever. You got $2. You're not going to be able to buy anything. Like it's an overpriced toy store. Sorry, if Brilliant Sky people, I love you, but it's expensive. So, and we're in the car. I'm like, Caroline, we're going to go in, but we will leave empty-handed. We're going to walk out with no toys if there's something that's not less than $2. Do you understand? And she's like, yes, Mom, yes, I promise. I'm like, okay, we're not throwing a fit, but we're going to go in and see. And of course, right when we walk in at the very front, it's like $1.99 was like this like cheap toy. And she's like, so she bought something. And of course she opens it. And she's like, I don't even want this anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh. I can't win. We can't win. But she's me. She is so me. When I see myself in her, I'm like, yep. So again, it's just how our kids already are dealing with money so differently. And the same parenting tactic doesn't always work kid to kid. And I'm learning that more and more each day. But it is so fun to see what they're doing and how they're experiencing life and money already, even as little ones. So I love it. It's so fun. All right, the last thing, it's kind of just a random fact, but I learned this the other day and kind of blew my mind. I was co-hosting the Ramsey show, and we were reading an article about car payments. And so used cars, new cars, and how much more expensive monthly payments are than they were even 12 months ago. So the average car payments for a new car today is $717. And it's just crazy to me because I'm like, I remember when it was like $400 to $500 was the average, right? And it just keeps going up and up and up. And I'm like, oh. And it's those little facts that I think that I'm like, man, when we know that 40% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency in cash, but how many of those are carrying around a $700 car payment, right, every month? And if you didn't have that, how much more margin you would have. And so it just kind of just was like that dagger to the heart. I'm like, man, it's getting so expensive. Life is so expensive, including debt. So that's one reason that we talk about staying away so that you don't have payments and your budget is freed up and there is freedom. So much freedom in that. So that's the learnings, you guys. When I look back, I'm like, yep, I feel like what I continue to learn day in and day out when it comes to money. So whether you're learning something professionally, maybe in a relationship in your life, or even if it's just some random stats and figures that you just think are interesting, I think it's one of the best things in life is to continue to learn, continue to ask questions, stay curious, because that's how you expand your mind when you start to learn new things. And so, again, just to give you the encouragement to be doing that. And I can get stuck in a rut sometimes where I'm like, I don't want to look around and research and stuff, but it is really good. It's good to continue to learn. So make sure to share this video with a friend who you know loves to learn. And thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.